vision, and I'm happy to say that the organizational vision of Mangalore University is embodied in a new format this year, and that new format is a very trendy anthem that the university has been able to put into place. This is along with the Vision 2030 document for the first time in the history of our university. Professor K. Bhairappa, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, brought into place Vision 2030, the vision document of the university, and as an extension of that, we have the University Anthem now, which was released on the occasion of the Foundation Day of the university earlier this year. A special feature of that is that the anthem has been specially sung by the noted film singer Guru Kiran and his team, who are of course old students of this university, alumni of this university, have put up the anthem, and here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the anthem of Mangalore University, zesty, trendy and contemporary. May we stand up to the anthem of the university.
ಜ್ಞಾನವೇ ಬೆಳಕು ಎನ್ನುವ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಧ್ಯೇಯ ವಾಕ್ಯವನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಸುತ್ತಾ ಈ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಗೀತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಅರಳಿದೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪಿತ ಆದ ಹಾಗೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವು ಸೃಜನಶೀಲ ಹೊಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಜೋಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿರುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳು ಈ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಗೀತೆ ರಚನೆಗೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೂ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಅಸ್ಮಿತೆಯ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿಯ ಒಂದು ರೂಪಕವಾಗಿ ಗೀತೆ ಅರಳುವುದಕ್ಕೂ ಕಾರಣಕರ್ತರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಸಂಸ್ಥಾಪಕರ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಲೋಕಾರ್ಪಣೆಗೊಂಡ ಬಳಿಕದ ಮೊದಲ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಗೀತೆ ಹಾಡಿದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಗ್ಗಳಿಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸಲ್ತದೆ ಎನ್ನುವುದನ್ನು ನೆನಪಿಸ್ತಾ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಮಿಸಿದ ಗಣ್ಯರನ್ನ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳನ್ನ ಬರಮಾಡಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಕುಲಸಚಿವರಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೆ.ಎಂ. ಲೋಕೇಶ್.
Dignitaries on the dais and my dear friends, it's a great honor for all of us that the Forum of Former Vice Chancellors of Karnataka State Universities, FVCK, has asked us to hold a seminar on manpower planning in higher education at Bangalore University. And when this offer was made to us, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mr. K. Bhairappa, accepted the invitation immediately and made all arrangements. And though our auditorium is out of bounds because of some repair work, he saw to it that the laboratory room meant for physical education has been got ready for this prestigious conference. And within 48 hours, he saw to it that everything was arranged in a proper manner. I'm extremely happy to tell you that our university staff worked overnight to make this event happen here. So before I welcome everybody, I actually thank the people who actually worked behind the screen to make this workshop or seminar a reality. Well, as far as higher education is concerned today, a lot of debate is taking place. What should be the nature of higher education in India? Or what kind of reforms we need as far as higher education in India is concerned? All of us know that India is very well known for its educational traditions, whether it is in ancient India or medieval India or in early modern India. We produced scholars, great doctors, great scientists, artists in the historical period and sent them to various parts of the world. Many people went to the Gulf countries, some of them went to Central Asia, some of them went to Southeast Asia, and created a concept called the Greater India in the medieval period and all. And today, as far as higher education is concerned, well, we say that we owe the traditions of higher education, modern higher education, to the British. The Europeans came to India in the 16th century and they laid foundation for European or Western kind of education. However, when India came under the control of the British, well, the British actually wanted to produce clerks who knew some English, because the British could not bring a large number of Englishmen or Europeans to India because the climate and weather conditions were not suitable, and at the same time the people who wanted to visit India demanded a very high salary, and therefore the British, who were not very sure about their continuation in India as a colonial power, well, decided to educate Indians by giving them English education. And when it actually requested Macaulay, Thomas Babington Macaulay, who was the law member of Lord William Bentinck, was the governor of India, Governor General of India from 1828 to 1835, he gave a report. It's called Macaulay Minutes. In that he said that it is imperative on the part of the British to create a group of Indians who would be Indian in blood and color, but Englishmen in every aspect, in intellect, in morals, in thinking, in their opinions, etc., etc. And his prophecy came to be true. Within 30 years of period, well, the Indians and the British managed to create a group of Indians who could manage higher education, who could manage civil service, etc., etc. And unfortunately for the British, the people who actually were educated in English became the harbingers of Indian nationalism. Anyway, in 1835, English became the medium of instruction in higher education. But as you know, the British actually never allowed Indians to have higher education in a big way because they thought that the higher education institutions would be the breeding ground of nationalists. And that is why they went on controlling universities, whether it is Calcutta or Madras or Bombay. But Indians succeeded in creating an environment where they could use the colonial space not only to come up in the education field, but also in creating a kind of nationalistic sentiment among Indians. And this nationalism ultimately ruined the British Empire, and in 1947 became independent. And after becoming independent, well, Indians actually embarked upon a very ambitious scheme of creating a strong system of higher education, and we know that UGC was established, and the same way many other higher education institutions were established, and many committees or commissions, education commissions were established. We received reports, and today we actually are in the 21st century. And if you look back, of course, we are proud of our progress and development as far as higher education is concerned. But there are areas where we will have to, put more, stress and focus more to, make our higher education more responsive to the modern needs and moods of the people. And the gross enrollment ratio is not up to the mark. And though in the 11th plan, the government of India wanted to bring up the gross enrollment ratio as far as higher education is concerned up to 30%, it has not succeeded. And today we have a large number of universities, 799 universities are there, out of which about 500 or so state universities are there, deemed universities are there, private universities are there, and institutions of higher learning and science research centers, all these things are there. But whether we have succeeded in creating a very strong, industrial base, strong, science and technological base, which could face the challenges that we are facing from other European countries, America or European countries, that you have to look into. And still, India is considered as one of the developing nations and also one of the poor nations in the world, and we have not acquired the nomenclature developed nation. And what should be done for that? And today, the seminar, which is being attended by a large number of former vice chancellors who have, guided the destinies of various universities in Karnataka, are here to share their ideas, they share their thoughts and their experience, their insights. I think would go a very long way in enlightening us in managing manpower or human resource management as far as the university is concerned. Dear ladies and gentlemen, well, with these remarks, let me now welcome our guests who are here at our request, who will be speaking on various aspects of manpower planning in higher education. Higher education, as you know, is a very important tool to bring about reforms, whether it is economy or society or polity or science or technology or other things. So unless higher education is strengthened in India, well, we are not going to challenge foreign countries. Today, of course, as far as higher education is concerned, we are the largest, third largest country in the world after US and China, and we are facing competition from various nations, and our government, whether it's central government or state government, I think are moving in the right direction, but we have to do a lot in the future to face the challenges. To participate in this manpower planning in higher education and to share their ideas, I think we have Professor Arjula Ramachandra Reddy, FNA Science, former Vice Chancellor, Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa and Hyderabad University, as our chief guest, and you will be giving the keynote address as far as manpower planning in higher education is concerned. And as you know, he actually guided the destinies of two very important universities, and his long experience and his insights would greatly help us to prepare a roadmap as to how universities in Karnataka should proceed, how to bring about changes in their system, and how to make universities more responsive to the social and economic needs of the country. With a lot of love and affection, I extend him a very warm welcome to this function. I request the Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor K. Bhairappa, to welcome you. And he needs no introduction because he is our own man. Professor S.N. Nigde was here as a professor of applied zoology in our university in the 90s, 80s and 90s. When I was a student here, he was heading the department, and when I came here as a deputy registrar examination back in 1994, he actually gave me full support, and whenever we were in some confusion or trouble, we would approach him, myself and the registrar evaluation, Professor Chandrasekhar Shetty, and he would speak to the Vice Chancellor and solve the problem. We had a Vice Chancellor by name Professor Savadati, a towering personality, and we were afraid of meeting him whenever we actually encountered a problem, and we would approach him through Professor S.N. Hegde and get the problem solved. And Professor Hegde is not only an erudite scholar but also a very good administrator, very good speaker, and later on he went to Mysore University as the Vice Chancellor, and as you know, he actually brought about a lot of reforms in Mysore University, and our Vice Chancellor Professor K. Bhairappa is a witness to the kind of reforms that he introduced in Mysore University. So I hope his presence will be of a lot of help for us, and he will enlighten us by sharing his experiences as far as the problems and concerns of and prospects of higher education is concerned. So with these remarks, I request Professor K. Bhairappa to welcome the guest. K. Bhairappa, our Vice Chancellor, is instrumental in organizing this function, and his idea is to have this kind of seminar in order to have a confluence of ideas as far as higher learning is concerned. The ideas that emerge, the consensus that would emerge in this workshop or in the seminar would help us in preparing a roadmap for the progress of higher education. Our idea is to collect the information that would be generated here, and at the same time the insights that emerge here, and prepare a report on that and submit to the government with a request to implement it in order to make this manpower planning in higher education more effective and rewarding. So we must thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for accepting this invitation and organizing this seminar here, which would be very useful for the principals of the colleges and as well as the chairmen of various departments and also professors who would be heading the departments after the present incumbent term is over. So I wish him a very warm welcome on behalf of our university. I request Professor Jairaj Amin, the Director, College Education, College Development Council. We have on the dais one more very important person by name of Professor R.N. Srinivas Gowda, former Vice Chancellor, Karnataka Veterinary, Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Bidar, and he is the present secretary of Forum of Former Vice Chancellors of Karnataka State Universities. I request Professor Jairaj Amin to welcome him to the function with a floral bouquet. M. Mahadevappa, Professor Venkataramanaya, Professor N.S. Ramegowda, and Professor Chandrasekhar, Professor Narayan Gowda, and other dignitaries. And we have some registrars also from various universities, and we have professors from various departments and also chairmen of various departments of our campus. and a large number of principals. And as we know, the colleges play a very important role in shaping higher education system in our country, and principals are responsible for educating our students and sending them to higher education. And higher education is very important because unless higher education is given to our children, well, a country cannot develop, or we cannot expect any development in our country, whether it scientifically or technologically or in other areas. And at the same time, one more thing that we have to remember is that ours is a democratic nation. And we are not producing machines by giving technological education and scientific education. So we will have to create human beings also. And for that, social sciences are also very important. And when we actually preach industrial science or what's called technology, etc., along with that, we will have to, teach them nationalism, teach them something about freedom struggle, teach them about our great heritage, and only when our students actually understand the importance and the legacy and the heritage of our country, well, they become, a full-fledged student, you can say, and higher education will have some meaning. Otherwise, students who manage to get good education would think in terms of making money, would think in terms of making capital, and that will actually go a very long way in destroying the country and in weakening the country. So we will have to give a very holistic education, and therefore I request all the principals here not only think in terms of producing machines, but at the same time we have to produce actually human beings who can love their country, who can show some kind of a patriotism to their nation, attachment to their nation, and that love will make them to have higher education and make the country very strong to meet the challenges of what's called that the humanity is facing. So I wish all of you a very warm welcome. I also wish a very warm welcome to Professor Jayara Jameen, who is the Director of College Development Council, and also who has been incessantly working to make this function very successful. Because whenever actually we asked for organizing this conference, some principals actually expressed their inhibitions. Since examinations are starting, well, they are not in a position to come. But anyway, he personally contacted a large number of principals and managed to convince them. And I'm extremely thankful to all of you to accepting our invitation and coming over here to make this function a grand success. I wish you a very warm welcome, and I request all of you to participate in a very meaningful way, making and make contributions by giving your insights, and make the entire session a very, very rewarding experience. I also extend a very warm welcome to our journalist friends from electronic media and print media who have come here to give a coverage to the entire function. So wish you all a very warm welcome once again, and I wish the function a grand success. Thank you very much.
ನೆರವೇರಿಸಿದ ಕುಲಸಚಿವರಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಕೆ.ಎಂ. ಲೋಕೇಶ್ ಇವರಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರು ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಾಲ್ಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ನ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರಾದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಕೆ. ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ಯುಯಲ್ ಅವರು ಬಂದು ಹೂಗುಚ್ಛವನ್ನು ನೀಡಿ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ವಿನಂತಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Chancellors who are with us, it is a great honor for us that they are here. They are the inspiration behind the Forum of Formal. organized by the College Development Council, Mangalore University, and the Forum of Former Vice Chancellors of Karnataka State Universities, the FVCK. And we have with us, very specially, Professor R.N. Srinivas Gowda, Secretary of the FCVK, and the Secretary of the FVCK, and former Vice Chancellor, Karnataka Veterinary Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, Bidar. May I now request Professor R.N. Srinivas Gowda to offer his introductory remarks.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Mangalore University, Chief Guest, Professor Arjula Ramachandra Reddy, Honorable former Vice Chancellor Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa, Guest of Honor, Professor S.N. Negde, President, Forum of Former Vice Chancellors of Bangalore, Honorable former Vice Chancellor, University of Mysore, respected registrars, Professor Lokesh, Dr. A.M. Khan, the Director of College Development Council, Bangalore, Professor Jairaj Amin, Honorable guest speakers, Professor Ravi Kumar, Department of Organization, Behavior and Human Resource Management, Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and Professor A. Chandramohan, Registrar, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Sriperumbudur, Chennai. Former Vice Chancellors, Honorable Professors P. Venkataramaya, Padma Bhushana, Professor Mahadevappa, Professor N.S. Ramegowda, Professor R. Chandrasekhara, Professor K. Narayana Gowda, and Deans and Principals of various colleges, invitees, press, media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I thank and compliment the Mangalore University Professor Bhairappa and his team for accepting our request to jointly organize an important seminar at this campus today. Let me take this opportunity to inform you that the Forum of Former Vice Chancellors of Karnataka, the so-called FVCK, in short, was launched in 2008 by like-minded people as a platform to chalk out the roadmap promoting the quality of higher education in our state. In the last few years, we have been organizing good number of seminars, workshops, discussion meetings, media interactions, and guest lectures on the topics of current interest, individually or in collaboration with various universities of the state. As of now, we are having more than 58 individual life members and 12 institutional members in our list. The broad objective of our forum is to act as a think tank and provide an effective interface between the state government and stakeholders of higher education, to promote quality and autonomy of universities, to inspire postgraduate students, research scholars, and young doctorates for taking up the faculty positions in colleges and universities, to build academic leadership among senior faculty members, to provide pool of subject experts to members, institutions who could be used as a consultant advisors. Coming to today's program, you're all well aware, just now Registrar has spoken a lot at length about higher education. The higher education provides high-level manpower that is critically important for the country's development requirements. In other words, all high-level type of manpower influences national building provided by a higher education sector. Higher education produces teachers that are required for all sectors of education. It needs to produce intellectual teachers with adequate knowledge to produce the skilled workers with creative ideas for the progress of the country. However, such growth of higher education has to be planned, growth incorporating quality and excellence to the reality to ignite the process of development. By 2020, India's population is expected to become world's youngest. More than 500 million Indian citizens will be under 25 years of age, and 2/3 of the population will be available for the work. This means growing number of Indians youth needs right education, infrastructure to develop skills and adequate opportunities to get employed or become innovative entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, we are not having adequate teachers or trainers or experts in our universities to train them in the right direction at the right time. A skill-based approach to education needs to be planned in all of the universities. Educational institutions, therefore, need to shift their focus to more hands-on learning approach. Graduates and postgraduates entering the job market can also raise their likelihood of being successfully if they possess a good communication skills, leadership capabilities, and a good interpersonal skills. Considering these facts, a difficult task lies ahead for the government and the educational institutions in the country to meet the requirements, especially the committed teaching faculty and the managing personnel at the university level. Therefore, this seminar is planned to draw the roadmap to fill the gaps or deficiencies in building of the manpower in higher education. Today, we are with us Chief guest, Professor Arjula Ramchandra Reddy, who is going to inaugurate as well as is going to give a keynote address in this regard. We are also having two important personalities who are experts in providing guidelines. Professor Ravi Kumar from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, is going to deliberate on management of faculty resource issues and challenges. We are also having another great personality from Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Youth Development, Sri Paramandur. Dr. Chandra Mohan is going to speak on leadership qualities of useful administrators in higher educational institutions. I think after the deliberations, we are going to call the expert panel, and the panel approval, with the approval of the panel and the people, the recommendations will be directly, we are going to give to the Higher Education Minister, and also we are going to be given to the press. Therefore, we need to have greater emphasis on the higher education. Let us listen to our speakers and then we can come to a conclusion. I personally thank once again to Professor Bairappa, Honorable Vice Chancellor and his team for giving this opportunity for our former Vice Chancellors. My special thanks to Jairaj Amin, who has taken all the interest and every moment he is to call me and he is to approach and he is to approach for everything, and he is also, we are very thankful to him and the entire team. With these remarks, I just call upon our speakers to speak on the topics. Thank you very much.
ಪ್ರಾಸ್ತಾವಿಕ ಮಾತುಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇಡೀ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣದ ಆಶಯವನ್ನು ಮುಂದಿಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಆರ್.ಎನ್. ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ ಗೌಡ ಇವರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಗಳು. ಮುಂದೆ ಈ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣದ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಒಳಗೂ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯಾತ್ಮಕವಾಗಬಹುದಾದ ವಿಶೇಷ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಪರಂಪರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಭಾ ಎಂದು ಕರೆಯಿತು. ಅಂತಹ ಪ್ರತಿಭಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಬೆಳಕು. ಬೆಳಕಿಗೆ ಸಂವಾದಿಯಾದ ಒಂದು ಶಕ್ತಿಯೊಂದು ಅದನ್ನು ಉನ್ನತ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನು ಬೆಳಗುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಸದ್ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಎಂದು ಚಿಂತಿಸುವ ಈ ವಿಚಾರ ಸಂಕಿರಣವನ್ನು ಇದೀಗ ದೀಪ ಬೆಳಗಿಸಿ ಉದ್ಘಾಟಿಸಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಂಧ್ರ ಪ್ರದೇಶದ ಕಡಪ ಯೋಗಿ ವೇಮುಲ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯದ ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತ ಕುಲಪತಿಗಳಾದ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಅರ್ಜುನ
ರೂಪ ರೂಪಗಳ ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಆ ಆ ಆ ಆ ನೂರು ಮತದ ಹೊಟ್ಟ ತೂರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ತತ್ವದಲ್ಲೇ ಮೀರಿ ನಿರ್ದಿಗಂತವಾಗಿಯೇರಿ ನಿರ್ದಿಗಂತವಾಗಿಯೇರಿ ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಆಗು ನೀಯ ನಿಕೇತನ ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ನಿಲ್ಲದಿರು ಮನೆಯನೆಂದು ಕಟ್ಟದಿರು ಕೊನೆಯನೆಂದು ಮುಟ್ಟದಿರು ಕೊನೆಯನೆಂದು ಮುಟ್ಟದಿರು ಓ ಅನಂತವಾಗಿರು ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಆಗು ನೀಯ ನಿಕೇತನ ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಆ ಆ ಆ ಆ ಆ ಅನಂತ ತಾನ್ ಅನಂತವಾಗಿ ಆಗುತ್ತಿಹನೆ ನಿತ್ಯ ಯೋಗಿ ಅನಂತ ನೀ ಅನಂತವಾಗು ಅನಂತ ನೀ ಅನಂತವಾಗು ಆಗು 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 ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ ಆಗು ನೀಯ ನಿಕೇತನ ಆ ಓ ನನ್ನ ಚೇತನ
Certainly signifies the mellifluousness with which Srivani Kakunje and Meera K have rendered this immortal song, which adds meaning to this deliberation this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, to continue that process of meaning making, may I request our Registrar Evaluation and Professor of Electronics, Mangalore University, Professor A.M. Khan, to introduce our chief guest, Professor Arjula Ramchandra Reddy.
Distinguished guests, invitees, faculty members, principals from various colleges, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you to introduce and present before you a dynamic personality in the form of Professor Arjula Ramchandra Reddy. Professor A.R. Reddy is a distinguished scientist, academic administrator, and an institution builder, and above all, a dedicated teacher. His outstanding work on genetics, genomics, and biotechnology of maize and rice has won world recognition. Specifically, he has made significant contribution to genetic engineering of complex biosynthetic pathways and drought stress response genes and pathways in rice. He has established strong international research collaborations under major grants from Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, the Rockefeller Foundation, European Union. He has successfully led and guided national and international projects in the area of biotechnology, agriculture, and biology. He has worked in several world-class institutions. He has a vast experience at the central as well as state level in building and managing institutions as the founder vice chancellor of a state university, board and committee member of several prestigious national and international institutions. He has served in several top committees of the Government of India and also in many selection committees of vice chancellors of various universities. Professor A.R. Reddy has a vast administrative experience. Before he took up the assignment of Professor Emeritus, he has worked as a vice chancellor of Yogi Women University, for 2 terms during 2006 to 2009 and 2010 to 2013. He was the Vice Chancellor in charge of Sri Krishnadevara University, Andhra Pradesh between 2010 and 11. He was the co-chairman of Apex Committee on Plant Biotechnology and Allied Areas during 2016-2019. He is a member of Board of Governors NIT Warangal, member Executive Council of Banaras Hindu University, co-chairman of the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, Government of India, chairman of Task Force on Basic Plant Biology, Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, member on Sectoral Monitoring Committee, Council of, that is CSIR, invitee, chairman of PAMC of National Plant Gene Repository, and so many memberships. Professor Reddy has been recognized for his contributions, as has been confirmed with many awards and distinctions, like Fellow Indian Academy of Sciences, Fellow Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, Germany, Career Biotechnology Fellowship of Rockefeller Foundation, USA, World Food Institute Scholarship, Iowa State, USA, Atomic Energy Scholarship, Government of India, His Excellency H. Nizam Scholarship, Travel Scholarship to USA for postdoctoral work, and member of International Society of Plant Molecular Biology, and so many other memberships which I need not list here. Professor A.R. Reddy has not only worked and contributed in India, but has held various important international assignments at some of the world's most reputed institutions. As visiting professor, the Max Planck Institute, Germany, visiting professor, Purdue University, USA, visiting fellow, the Scripps Research Institute, San Diego, USA, research associate fellow, Johns Hopkins University. He has served as a resource person at International Rice Research Institute, IRRI. He has delivered invited talks at various reputed international institutions in USA, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, England, France, and Singapore. At heart, Professor Reddy has always been a teacher who has helped students and in a big way has contributed for the development of various students. Professor Reddy has guided over 25 PhD students. Some of them are in leading positions in Indian academics industry. Besides, he has trained many MSc project students, MPhils, INSA scholars, fellows, and others. His high-quality research work on genetics, genomics, and biotechnology of rice have been published in very reputed scientific journals and are cited in top ones. He has provided DNA sequencing, serving under collaboration to researchers from universities such as JNU, University of Hyderabad, etc. He has contributed to the growth of the university in his capacity as a professor, head of the department, dean, faculty of science, dean, student welfare, academic council member, syndicate member, executive council for over 36 at University of Hyderabad. He has served as the co-chairman of Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, Ministry of Environmental and Forest, Government of India, chairman of Expert Committee on BT Brinjal, Minister of Environment and Forest, Government of India. He has served in the review committee of genetic manipulation, Government of India, for more than 6 years. And he has been the member of various committees at the Government of India and at the state level. We have amidst us a man of high repute and standing in the field of academics, administration, and research. May I request you all to welcome him with a big round of applause. Thank you.
Professor A.M. Khan's detail of our chief guest's academic and administrative achievements enables us to listen to Professor Arjula Ramchandra Reddy with a rapt attention bordering on reverence. May I invite you, sir, to deliver the inaugural address. Professor Arjula Ramchandra Reddy.
To assure that I'm not going to tell you the history of universities in India. Ellarigu namaskara. It's a pleasure to be here for 2 reasons. One is that, of course, I have a very good friend of mine for a long time, Professor Bhairappa. And 2, I have 2 daughters, and both of my son-in-laws are educated in Dakshina Karnataka. That was Kuvempu University and Manpower Institute of Technology. So that's a good reason for me to be here. I have to say that I know about your university probably more than most of you know, because I was a part of your Vision 2030. So I looked into each department, each faculty, and very deeply. So that qualifies me to speak here. Why I have chosen this topic? We started as your registrar already told the history of the ancient Indian universities and so on. These two universities, the first one, Takshashila, started 2,700 years ago with more than 1,000 teachers, as the history shows. And today we have universities with a single-digit faculty. What did we learn in 2,700 years? And where do we stand? So I'm going to talk more about the context of manpower development in universities. Context. Why are we talking today? Why is it necessitated today to speak about manpower planning? Manpower means not only the secondary staff, the non-teaching staff or something, also the faculty. And we should start manpower planning from the top. In a lighter vein, I must say, we should plan the manpower from the UGC itself. Today, UGC has no chairman, no vice chairman, no secretary. 13 NITs have no directors until last week. 18 NITs in India have no chairman of board of governors for last 1.5 years. So you can imagine where is this problem, where the problem lies. We are only at the downstream. I am going to talk about the upstream problem. What is preventing us? What is deterring us from planning optimal manpower? Not only what to manage inside, but even outside. Next slide. So that's a disclaimer. I may be provoking something, I may be talking something harsh, but no harm intended, no insult intended. This is my personal perception. You have to take that in that spirit. So, next slide. Manpower planning in universities. The management experts are there. They are going to speak about the nitty-gritty of the management of the manpower. But I am going to speak about the crux of the matter. Next slide. You all know the definition of manpower. Manpower planning consists of putting right number of people, right kind of people, at the right place, right time, and all kinds of right. But do we really have the luxury to do the above? Who controls the manpower strength in the university? Who regulates the manpower strength in the universities? Who are responsible for this? That is the crux of the matter. So in the manpower at universities, are we planning, are we proceeding with recruitment or selection? While getting the manpower at the university, are we following the principles of recruitment or the principle of selection? These two are different things. And while recruitment is upstream process where we identify the talent, we encourage them to apply, we provide all the facilities, invite them. That was the case much earlier. Today, we are using the selection process, which is an elimination process to get rid of the candidates. Selection go through different tests, different series of steps, but ultimately, selection allows you to either reject the suitable or unsuitable. It's not an exaggeration to say selection also leads to rejection of suitable people, because consideration, the parameters of selection, the underlying pressures of selection are different. This is really the case. Now, we are now suddenly worried about the manpower planning in universities because there is a change in the value system of the university in the first place. We moved away from value-based education to value-added education. It's like adding vitamin D in the milk or all kinds of vitamins in the juice, which those of you are biochemistry people, you know, just because swallowing some vitamins are not going to help you, it has to come through the fruits. It has to come through the food. The change in the traditional university student mindset, there is a change. The student used to depend upon the teacher, upon the library and so on. Today, he has to depend more, he is depending more on the lateral entry of the incomplete knowledge, not sorted out knowledge. Pressure to demonstrate value addition. Universities are under pressure to demonstrate what value you are going to add to your degrees, which is a stupid thing to do. Universities are the topmost education, the tertiary education system in which we are supposed to generate pure knowledge and pure knowledge, not the skills. Just like that, skill. Do you want elite universities? You want to make, to train a person who goes on the cycle with a screwdriver on the back and repair everything? Is that what the universities are supposed to do? It is a degradation of the university thinking itself. The skill development in the university is a kill development. Skilling, it's not skilling, it's killing. We are degraded to that level to do anything but knowledge generation system, which is our beginning of our downfall. That must be understood. There are institutions and institutions and institutions which can develop skill, which are meant for that. But universities cannot be pushed. They should not be pushed into this mundane, sundry system of ordinary skill development. Maybe we can be used for skill upgradation, but not skill development. Okay, the university will begin to face, actually universities are beginning to face the scrutiny of the society. What is this university? This university is not training correct manpower. We are not here to generate manpower, my dear friends. We are generate knowledge people, pure knowledge. A man who is capable of learning, capable of imparting that learning, that learned education with wisdom to the rest of the society. But society is also now somehow brainwashed to ask universities what kind of employable students you are producing. This is the problem. Higher education as a private rather than a public good system. This is slowly encroaching. Higher education was public good in terms of Marxism, but it is now private good. This transition is also putting pressure on to do something novel mechanisms of planning manpower. We are forced now, universities are forced to evolve into something different than what we are. What are those? Next slide. We are supposed to have been called state universities. After some time we have become state supported universities, then state assisted universities, state related universities, now state located universities, because they are not giving money except salaries. This kind of downward tendency is not today's job. Each state government is vying upon each other to push this downtrend faster and faster and faster. This is the problem with the states, governments. Well, we can't blame them directly, but this is what is happening. Now, the real problem is universities. No, you are not showing slides. Why? No, before. Okay. Universities are no more static ivory tower structures. Universities are dynamic and they are diverse. Universities are getting differentiated. University is a composite structure. It is an entity with diverse disciplines where there is a convergence of new ideas, interaction between totally divergent thoughts, schools of thought. Today, agricultural university, take example, it has been divided into veterinary, fisheries, poultry university, earthworm university, birds university, whatnot. Now, in the process, the integrated agriculture, the plant life, integrated animal life, integrated plant-animal interactions, the biochemistry behind them, the biology behind them, the physiology behind them, the environment behind them, the genetics behind them, the genomes behind them are forgotten. This, we are getting the domain knowledge a lot, but we are missing holistic knowledge generation system. So we are moving towards biological reductionism than holistic attitudes towards life, towards a system. And this is one of the problems. And that necessitates, obviously, a new way of thinking, and choices also are many more choices. University started, at least mentally, satisfying itself that we are catering needs of different parts of the society, which I do not know. We are enrolling not students, we are trying to enroll customers now, because people are coming there to learn to get a job. So this customerization is also one of the root problems. University is a university, universal. University now became really uni-versity. One purpose, That is the problem. Student perception of general education is also changing. Society needs education, educated citizens. Businesses need trained workers. Businesses want ready-made worker from their labs. I have a very good example, personal experience. When Shanta Biotech, the world-class vaccine producing company, the first vaccine produced for hepatitis B from Hyderabad, for which he got Padma Bhushan award. Now, he wanted to appoint some biochemistry people from University of Hyderabad, and when he came, none of them were suitable for that job. We are teaching biochemistry, we are not teaching pharmaceutical chemistry, we are not teaching drug chemistry, we are teaching chemistry. They have to adapt, they have to take these students and adopt them, they will get the best pharmaceutical chemists, best chemical engineers, but they don't do that. They want ready-made people. This is a conflict between how the society looks at us, how we look at the education system. Employers overemphasize skills rather than knowledge. This is the problem. We emphasize more on the knowledge than the skills. This is a dichotomy of the system. This has a direct impact on the university system. Next slide. In the process, therefore, university concept is forgotten. We have become a uni-varsity. We have become catering university. We've forgotten universities are communities. Communities of difference, not simply collection of disparate disciplines and scholars. Technicals, something more, technical specialties, administrators and staff. We are a unique structure. That was forgotten. In these collective endurance, quality means that the whole must be something better and better than parts, and that is missing. Strong leadership at all the levels of university, including board members, vice chancellors, senior administrators, deans, directors, chairs, faculty, and all members of the academic community who serve in a leadership capacity of one type or the other. This is the simple concept of the university. Now, I will concentrate on the faculty. We have a serious problem in the faculty, which everybody, all the vice chancellors, stalwarts here, they know. All of them know what is the root problem, but we don't want to say that that's a different matter. Now, what kind of faculty we have? Before we plan for the more faculty, let us look at what kind of faculty we have. Dwight Eisenhower, former President of the United States, was a graduate of Columbia University, USA. When he became president, he wanted to go back. First thing to do was go back to the university and address its community. So he went there and he started talking, how pleased I am to address the employees of Columbia University, of which I was a part. One professor, I. Rabi, who got Nobel Prize later, physics, he said, Mr. President, sir, we are not the employees of the university. We are the university. That's the pride of a faculty member. How many of us have real pride to be a faculty member in the university? Don't you see where the rot begins? We ourselves are not proud individuals anymore. That is one of the reasons. A faculty member must, by definition, have academic arrogance. Not arrogance towards colleagues and all that. Academic arrogance is a primary criteria that expresses the confidence of a teacher. If you don't have it, there is some problem. Okay, so the faculty is a problem, and that problem is not going to be solved just because you increase a few faculty members. No, it's not going to solve that. Problem lies elsewhere. Most fundamental and private challenge confronting the universities today, pervasive challenge confronting universities today, has to do with the way we conceive excellence. We don't even have a clear-cut picture of what is academic excellence. What is academic excellence? And this excellence differs with the view of a different vice chancellor. I don't demean anybody, but I met one vice chancellor. I asked, what is your vision of excellence in my state? Undivided Andhra Pradesh. He simply told what vision, what excellence. I have been appointed because in the history of Andhra Pradesh, nobody from my community was appointed as a vice chancellor. Why are you talking about vision? What vision? There it will go on like that. We are starting from there. And so you could imagine what would be the fate of that university where there is no vision, no excellence. There are three kinds of excellences. Vice chancellors differ on these: academic excellence, operational excellence, and service excellence. Now, academic excellence is the primary criteria with which a university must run. Operational excellence, many vice chancellors today are doing because they are scared of the government. What do I mean by operational excellence? Here is a university somewhere which is excellent. It is excellent because it receives the funds, spends very nicely. Before March 31st or so, it spends all the money and gives the utilization certificate in a pakka format to the government. Government calls it the best university. Is that what you want? Where is the performance? What about the teaching levels? What about the contribution? What about the graduate quality that comes out of it? Where does it stand in the university's evaluation system? So, operational excellence is confused with the academic excellence. Okay, this is giving some problem. Okay, but service excellence is how many skilled people you are producing, how many teachers you are doing, how many times you are allowing the university to be given for facilities like conducting examinations and training the surveyors, training the IAS, IPS people, something like that. That is a service excellence. There is a confusion. So we have forgotten that our main business is academic excellence. And the perception of excellence varies, that's what I say. So, vision of excellence, therefore, more encompassing vision of excellence is a vision that takes account opposing views of higher education, not a monotonous view of higher education, opposing views of higher education. You must be accommodative enough to see that there is divergent opinions and we have to synthesize and go ahead. It should identify the university as a place that not only advances pure knowledge, but also one that applies, tests, improves, and we must use that knowledge. One that genuinely aspires to excel in all activities. The excellence is a crux of the matter in this university. Now, colleges and universities have been regarded as the gold standards earlier. That here is a place where there is knowledge gained, knowledge disseminated faithfully. Not only knowledge gained and stored here of the teacher, but disseminated properly, and the students are getting benefited. And, and people knew that the universities are the main repositories of the knowledge forever. But now, one rough estimate, it's startling. I asked the Vice Chancellor of Usmania University, how much you spend? You receive a block grant from the government, this much this year. How much you spend on academic activities? 7 paisa out of every rupee only goes to higher education, only goes to academics in the university. Some universities spend 3 paisa. University of Hyderabad spends 42 paisa per rupee on students, academics. With 3% budget, what manpower you can plan? What improvement you can do? How we can do that? How long, how much we can stretch? This is the real problem. And I don't know whether this will improve in future, hope so. Okay, the context of planning is universities are changing in character and content. This is a summary song of this is a real song that I would like to sing. Higher education system is under reform. We have been hearing this word reform since last 12 years. We are under reform, supposed to be. The reform says access, equity, it revolves around 3. Access, equity, expansion. This you all the vice chancellors here know, all the teachers know. But what about quality? How much emphasis is there, was there, has been there in the university reformation exercise on the quality of it structurally? God knows. Competition, but the factors that they explained is competition from private enterprise, market influence is beginning to assert on the university system, public perception is changing rapidly, and policy blues, a lot of policy errors are getting into this. Therefore, manpower planning has to be in tune with this. But what is happening now? We have in the reform system, next slide. In the reform system, I don't want to go through the real slide, huge 64 organizations, bodies control and regulate the higher education in this country. 64 organizations. One organization does not know what really others is doing. For example, AICTE began in order to regulate technical education, and that became the major problem in India. Degradation of technical education began with AICTE, period. No discussion on that. And you have more and more and more of them. Why? Why you have lost trust in the university system in the first place? And then you are asking us to do something which is ridiculous. Now, this is the next slide. Next slide shows from the document. This is directly from the document of the Committee on Higher Education of University Reforms, okay? T.S. Subramaniam's committee. First of all, higher education reforms must not be chaired, committee must not be chaired by a non-academic person, an IAS officer, diplomat, but that is the case. Now, you see now, on the top of this map, there is autonomy. Rest of them, you don't have to understand all this, but there is no mention of quality in this big diagram. There is no quality. Nobody knows, because what the IAS officer cares about the quality. He wants accountability. That's all it is. That's where the problem is. Now, so I am now quoting here, next slide. That's a quote from the preamble of the document prepared by the commission. It says, it will not be an exaggeration to say that our education system is in disarray. How nice is to start with a commission with this kind of summary. It says, teacher vacancies and their absenteeism continue to plague. It is compared with, simile here is a plague, which is more than 70 years ago we suffered with, millions dead. 12 million people died with this. There is widespread corruption in appointments and transfers of teachers, and also